Did you know that regular colors like this can actually be dangerous and cause this in dogs? Well, they can, and let me explain how. Wait, so what you're saying is that flat colors are actually more dangerous than prong colors? No, that's not what I'm saying, but they still carry a risk. I'm Dr. Ryan, veterinarian and a veterinary behavior specialist. The reason I'm making this video is because I just had a case exactly like this. A client came to me with their dog that had this bloodshot eyes, what is known as scleral injection. The sclera is usually considered the white of the eye or the outer layer of the eye, and when it's injected, the blood vessels are really big and engorged. It kind of looks like the dog is high on weed or something like that. By the way, it sometimes might actually happen because of weed, but then we're probably gonna see more clinical signs. This dog was happy, eating, drinking, wasn't rubbing his face, didn't have any discharge coming out of his eyes. And when I actually examined the entire dog, I looked for other causes that will make the eyes red and bloodshot. For example, issues with bleeding, coagulation issues. I looked everywhere. I looked on the gums, I looked on the exposed skin of the abdomen and even under the fur for what we call petechias and ecchymosis. These are hematomas or bleeding in the skin. And it looks like a lot of spots or patches of blood underneath the skin. But they didn't find anything like that. And the owner said that they didn't see any blood coming out when the dog is urinating or defecating, and the dog wasn't vomiting or anything like that. Now, there are other things that might cause it, including infections and anything that will cause inflammation of the eyes. I used an ophthalmoscope to look at the retina, and it also looked completely normal. No signs of bleeding inside the eye, no signs of detachment, which might sometimes tell us that there's high blood pressure that's actually causing this detachment of the retina and can make your dog blind. Basically, the clinical exam was okay, normal, except for the scleral injection. Now, the dog was actually wearing a harness. And a harness, when the dog pulls, actually spreads the pressure over different places on the dog's torso, on the dog's chest. But then the owner told me that she usually walks the dog with a flat collar, what we call a regular collar. And the dog pulls like crazy. And yes, that was probably the cause. I actually saw that happening many times before, especially when people took their dog to a dog groomer, and many of the dog groomers will just basically connect some sort of a leash to the dog's collar, to the dog's flat collar, and then if they look away and the dog tries to jump off the table, they basically hang themselves on their neck. And that increases the pressure in the eye and can cause this scleral injection. And by the way, sometimes it might even kill the dog. But don't worry, in this case, it actually went away with treatment to reduce that secondary inflammation. And within a few days, everything was completely fine. Now, every time I talk about prong collars, people say that a flat collar is actually a lot worse because it creates this pressure over the neck. And I agree, a flat collar can be dangerous, but, and this is very important, this is the big difference between a prong collar and a flat collar. Let's start with the fact that a prong collar can also cause it. Why? Because even though it's not putting all the pressure on one area, it still compresses the neck on different areas on the neck and actually compresses everything at the same time. So the end result is still choking the neck and increasing that pressure. If the dog is pulling like crazy, or if he's being hung by it or something bad like that, the prongs can actually pierce the skin itself. And this is something that I also saw many times, like injuries because of the prong. And one other important thing to know when we're comparing a flat collar to a prong collar is that To begin with, the prong collar is created in order to cause pain. But kind of like a flat collar, most dogs that use it, even though they do feel that pain, it doesn't really stop them from pulling. So they pull and their neck is being compressed. And that is why I never recommend using any aversive training tools in order to get your dog to walk calmly and not pull. And yes, a flat collar is also not actually a good training tool, or it's not a training tool at all. Although there are other tools for training dogs not to pull, like no pull harnesses. So it's not the harness that attaches at the back, it's actually the harness that attaches at the front. Although we do have those tools, still the best way to train a dog not to pull is not by using tools. It's actually by teaching the dog to calmly walk next to you or even in front of you, but without pulling, and to be able to easily communicate with your dog in order to distract him from triggers around in case it's needed. And it's not that hard. You just need to know how to do it. And I actually reviewed a video of a dog trainer that does just that. She uses reward-based training to get a dog to come back to her, even though there are all kinds of like small critters and prey animals running around. And if you know anything about dogs, you know that this is really hard to do because dogs do have a prey drive and they're highly motivated to chase those animals. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and please like and subscribe. It really helps this channel grow. Now, in the meanwhile, if you want to see that review that I made, why not watch this video next?